That backdrop is fucking... That backdrop is fire, dude!
Bada bing, bada boom, realest ones in the room. Chuck, how you doing?
Oh, I'm feeling fucking great. How you doing, Schup?
Wonderful. Thank you for asking, Chuck. We got another cracked out episode today. We're going to talk some football. We're going to divide some quarterbacks, some teams into tiers. We got our W's and L's. We might talk a little bit of shit here and there, you know, the usual.
Yeah. Couple of this, couple of that, you know. We're going to break down the quarterbacks. We're going to go through the tiers, see what they are. What are we doing? A, B, C tiers? Is that correct?
A, B, C, D. So we got our four quadrants. You know, we got our tier A, which is the elite, the championship contending teams, or the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Then you got your tier B. You know, your borderline top 10 quarterbacks, your playoff team in the mix kind of guys, and then you go down to C tier, your mediocre teams, your just mediocre average quarterbacks, and then D, the shit tier.
Just poop.
I don't think I need to explain that.
We'll call D is poop.
D is poop. So, Chuck, we're going to fire this one off. I'll start naming quarterback, and then you name one after me. So,
okay.
We're going to start with our quarterbacks. So, tiers. Where would you tier Dak Prescott?
Okay, so Dak Prescott, he has like all the intangibles, the whole resume to become a great quarterback, right? We've seen him do it before, but he just can't win the big playoff game. I want to put him at an A, but I'm going to put him at a B because he hasn't had that command of like a playoffs. And I don't think he's ever really turned into... He's that guy. He has all the ability to become that guy, but I haven't seen him become that guy.
For Dak Prescott, in my opinion...
I'd say high B.
I agree with you. I think B is very comfortable. I think, yes, he got the bag, which was deserved, you know, after that horrific injury that he had. But have we seen him carry a team that didn't have a great offensive line? Not yet. Maybe this is his year, but he's had a great supporting cast his entire career. They let go of some guys this offseason, so let's see what happens.
We'll see. So I'm going to ask you, with all his complaining and antics going on right now, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray, where do you put him as of right now?
Oh, A tier, for sure. Kyler Murray is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the NFL. He's a scrambler, and he's just one of the most elusive playmakers that anytime Kyler Murray has the ball, it's a big play waiting to happen. The real concern with Kyler Murray is, does he have the right coaching in place? Does he have the right playmakers around him? Obviously, he has DeAndre Hopkins, but he's now suspended for 6 games. Can he carry that load? But, you know, if I'm picking a team from scratch right now, I can't think of any quarterbacks I'd choose before Kyler Murray.
That's true. Okay, that's interesting because I was going to put him at high B, but now let me give you another guy. He's come into the league, exploded, and I think he's going to keep exploding, even though he's going to terrorize my Chiefs. Justin Herbert. Where would you rank him?
He is also A tier for me. Maybe on the lower side, but the guy just took off last year. Most sophomore quarterbacks slump, but Herbert took his game to another level. He had some insane throws. And obviously the Chargers offense is very stacked, but Herbert has the ability to hit all those weapons. And without him, his offense just simply isn't as explosive. When I say top 5, I would say more lower A, high B, but I think
he's going to break that threshold of top 5. I think he's going to break through. I think he's going to break that and become top 5 easily.
I got an interesting one for you. Jalen Hurts, where would you put him?
Definitely biased here. We're both Giants fans. But in all honesty, with his playmaking ability, and I mean, like he does carry that team. I want to say he's a solid B. He's a solid B who needs the right scheme and coaching to progress. And he needs, like, obviously an O-line in front of him. Because once they get that run pass option going, it's really hard to stop them.
I'm glad that we could both acknowledge it. We're biased in here,
Yeah.
but I'm also glad that
Because I am worried about the Eagles this year.
I'm worried about the Eagles, but the only thing that's stopping me from being completely terrified of them is Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to put him in C tier just because of his accuracy issues.
Okay.
Very good scrambling quarterback. There's a lot of them in the NFL nowadays. Hurts he's just not the greatest passer. We've seen multiple times with the Eagles last year where they literally lost games because Hurts would go like 9 for 20 in passing. And hold the offense back. He's the definition of amazing fantasy producer, just not all the talent but there at quarterback.
I like that. I would definitely pick him in fantasy this year, 100%.
Absolutely
100%.
pick him in fantasy, but there's a real concern that if you do pick him in fantasy, does he last the entire year as a starting quarterback? It's something to watch out for. If his play really starts to decline, they could opt to go with Gardner Minshew and see what he's got. Especially if
you want to go with Minshew.
Not right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think they want to believe it. It hurts definitely.
Not right now, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I think if you're going to put someone in B tier, that means they're top 16, aka top half. Okay. I don't see Hurts as top half.
Okay, I agree. Mm-hmm. I could change one. That's a good point. The accuracy there is definitely important in the league while passing. I got a quarterback for you. Maybe too early to tell. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields?
We just saw him for 1 year, but I feel like he has the ability to take over the league. But I don't know. In an organization like the Bears, we'll see.
At this current moment, he is D tier.
Right?
He's in the bottom 8. Obviously, it could change, but going off what you said, he has the ability to take off. But the Bears tore down the roster more this year. It's not going to help Fields.
No.
He
doesn't have Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson didn't even do anything,
Exactly.
but like the defense, they lost some defensive guys. It's just Fields gonna have a chance to throw a lot. We know that, but it just seemed like a lot of times last year he was just playing like scared. Like he was playing like a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I love to see him take a step forward, but Ohio State quarterbacks, as an Ohio State alum myself, just have not had a good track record in NFL in recent years.
That is true. History does tell the tale.
So we can end this off with one more each. And I know this guy, but we'd love to talk about Daniel Jones.
I know. I was going to ask you.
Where is he right now?
Ask you. I'm very optimistic. I want to see him do very well, right? We both want to see him do very well. Now, he's got the pieces. The O-line is being built. He's got everything in front of him. But what we've seen, you automatically, if you're a football fan, you're like, oh, he's D. He's D tier automatically.
I would actually...
But he's had really good games. Injuries have have limited him. We haven't seen him have a lot of very good games, but when he comes out and shows out, you see his athletic ability, you see his arm strength, and you see what he can do. So, I put him at D because of all those factors, but he could be B.
He could be B. I'm going to have him at C tier right now. You think of what quarterbacks out there would I put bottom 8? Off the top of my head, we already have Fields.
Yeah.
And then I would put Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed.
Trubisky.
Yes.
Drew Lock.
Carson
Wentz. Sam Darnold.
Yes.
And then you have some debatable...
Davis Mills and the Texans.
Oh my God, Davis Mills.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't have a quarterback. We'll give shout out Davis Mills. Sorry for the banter, but we'll give you a shot.
Yeah, and then you go our questionable guys. Zach Wilson, he's on the border. Mac Jones is on the border. Matt Ryan at this point of his career, maybe he's more of a C tier lock. But anyway,
sure.
I think Daniel Jones has more talent than all those guys. It's just that he just plays like a guy who's had a shit offensive line his entire career, which he has.
It's the truth.
But my worry for him is we made upgrades to offensive line, but is he going to change? Is he going to get more comfortable now, or is he going to still play like in his head he's going to get sacked every play? That's going to be a big determinant whether, one, he plays another year, but also whether he ascends to the next tier level.
I agree. Okay. But for now, he's D. because I'm gonna be that Giants fan who expects the most.
Mm-hmm.
Last one. I wanted to ask you: does Ryan Tannehill does he break top 16, or do you think he's just there to hand the ball off?
Ooh, that's actually the best one that we've covered so far. He's very much in that average tier. He has had the capabilities of leading his teams to the playoffs with not always great supporting cast. Of course, he's had Henry, but when Henry was out, the Titans still held on to that 1 seed with
Which is unbelievable.
With an unhealthy AJ Brown most year, with a decrepit Julio Jones. For God's sakes, Nick Westbrook Ikina was their number 1 guy all year. So for Tannehill to hang in there and keep his team afloat to number 1 seed, I think that's gotta be very commendable. It's when you get to the playoffs and teams have more time to study the hell out of him and learn how to expose him is where he falls. And that's exactly where he ended up falling last year. But, I would put him at B tier. But if I had to give him an honest ranking, it'd be 15 or 16. So very low B tier. But if the Giants suddenly had Tannehill,
I wouldn't be mad.
I wouldn't be mad at all. It wouldn't be. I don't think Tannehill is the cause of the team's problems, but I don't think he ascends them to that next level, which is
100%.
perfect for a B tier quarterback.
Couldn't agree more.
All right. Hopefully, we can agree a little bit less on this next part. We're going to go into NFL teams. So ignore the quarterbacks, or maybe don't ignore the quarterbacks because they are a pretty big part of the team. But
love quarterbacks.
Now that the draft is over, we had our power rankings a couple months ago, but it's going to change a little bit now that we know the directions that these teams have gone into, and we're going to sort these teams out by A tier, championship contender, B tier, fringe playoff team or playoff team, C tier, mediocre, D, absolute crap.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with an interesting one. The Washington football team. Where would you put them?
Right off the bat, just D right now. Nothing really. I haven't heard anything good about the Commanders. I don't know who picked the name Commanders, but that's not enticing either. But besides the name, is Carson Wentz going to produce? Is their defense they're going to come? Are they going to come up big? They're coming off a Chase Young injury. They're D. They're going to be last in the NFC East and the NFC least. That's where I put them.
Yeah, I think they're close to C tier, but I do think they're D tier right now. What happened to that defense 2 years ago?
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
They were so elite, and the secondary just fell apart last year, which really exposed the D-line. And Chase Young's now coming off a torn ACL, so who knows what he's going to be like coming into the year.
And Montez Sweat got injured too, so their D-line is decrepit. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah, it doesn't really look good for Washington right now. Carson Wentz is obviously a big X factor, but there is a funny tweet that came out today. It was Carson Wentz. He's getting, his throws look really nice. Wow, this guy's got a cannon for a run. Oh wow, he got intercepted. So that's more of what we should expect. More of the same.
Yeah, I will let the trolling begin because maybe it fuels Carson Wentz. Maybe it lights a fire under his ass, but probably not.
Who you got from each side?
So I'm gonna ask you. Now this team, it's in a tough division, but I don't know what are they gonna do? It might be the worst team in that division, the Seattle Seahawks, and I don't feel like nobody's really talking about them. Is this gonna be Pete Carroll's last year? What do you think?
The Seahawks, I would put in C tier right now. Now, I think that they are comfortably the last place team in that division. Doesn't mean that they're an awful team. It's a decent team with an awful quarterback situation, which will get you a lot of what the Denver Broncos have gotten you the last few years. And now they have the Denver Broncos starting quarterback. The coaching has been faltering the last few years too. Pete Carroll is kind of losing it. It seems like he's on his foot's one way out the door. But there's still plenty of talent on both sides of the ball. DK Metcalf is is still a Seahawk. They had those 2 first-round picks, right?
Who's gonna play quarterback? That's what I'm trying to figure. That's what I'm thinking about right now. That's what's boggling my mind.
It's good. It's gonna be Locke or Geno Smith, which never is that exciting.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, but they got weapons, like you said. You're right. They have DK Metcalf, and they still got Lockett. Am I right?
They still have both of those guys, but if they don't get the ball, what's the point?
What's even the point?
But yeah, the reason I don't put Seahawks in D tier is because they are in the NFC, and the NFC is just generally weaker, so their schedule will allow them to get more wins, as opposed to being the AFC and being bad will automatically put you in D tier because the teams are stacked.
But they're the Seahawks in the nutshell. No quarterback. I think they're going to tank on purpose. Probably get like young or what's his name?
CJ
Stroud. Yeah.
It's very possible that putting them in C tier is overrating them, but the Seahawks are a good franchise generally, so I give them the benefit of the doubt.
I like it.
Here's an interesting one: the Miami Dolphins, of all the upgrades they made this offseason.
Now, Tyreek's getting that bag. He's definitely getting that money, which he deserves, and I'm gonna miss him so much as a Chiefs fan. But you go from a big jump from Mahomes throwing you absolute dots to now you got Tua, who I'm not gonna really disrespect his arm, but like he doesn't have an arm like Pat Mahomes. Now their offensive coordinator, I forgot who's the new offensive coordinator, but they're gonna have to do some plays with Tyreek, misdirection, have teams double him, and then have other open receivers like Waddle. Like it's gonna open up a lot of lanes, but can Tua accurately hit those like quick plays? Like, can he get the ball downfield? So I'm gonna put him at a modest B. They have a chance. Like their defense is also very, very good. Like 2 years ago, their defense was outstanding, and then they had that run last year. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Was it in the end? They won like 8 straight.
They started 1-7, and they came back.
Exactly. So that's something good to go off of, but they have to get to a good start, and Tua has to hit his throws. So I'm gonna give them a modest B, but I want to give them like a high C. So, but I'm gonna keep it at modest B.
Ooh, you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins are A tier.
A tier.
We see every year. We see teams that make these jumps with young quarterbacks because they have the young quarterback on a deal, so they can go ahead and sign free agents to improve their team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what were the Dolphins' biggest flaws last year? Besides the quarterback woes, they didn't have a ton of pass catchers beyond Waddle.
Yeah.
And they couldn't block. They couldn't block.
Yeah, they have Gesicki, but I mean he's not really in for the blocking. He is a receiver.
The Dolphins, if the Dolphins don't succeed this year, it's Tua is a bust and needs to be let go. That's how confident I feel about this roster in general. The defense was already spectacular last year. They got 2 amazing corners,
mm-hmm.
and their front seven's not too bad. But the upgrades they made this offseason, they got 2 outstanding linemen.
Yeah.
Signed Teron Armstead to a big deal. Now they got a left tackle. They got Connor Williams. They added a couple running backs into the mix when they had no running backs last year. And of course,
what's his name? Gaskin. He's nasty.
Well, they got Gaskin. They got Chase Edmonds. They got Raheem Mostert. Yeah. So they have a lot of weapons back there. And of course, you add Tyreek Hill. This team should be explosive.
Yeah, they do have a good team on paper.
This team should be explosive. Maybe putting them in A tier is a little bit like high, but I'd say B tier is realistic. But I'm not here to just give you realistic takes.
Yeah,
I think if Tua puts together like they're saying that he has been this offseason, this team could compete with the Bills for a division title.
I do, yeah. They like Jerome Baker, linebacker. They got Andrew Van Winkle. You said the corners, Xavier Howard, and then the safety Eric Rowe. Those are guys that have been on the team for a couple of years, so they do have a lot of guys coming back. I like that. Yeah, I could see him being A, but then again, the division.
Yeah. So speaking of tough divisions, I want to know where would you put the Raiders? The Raiders made a bunch of upgrades too, but they might actually be the worst team in the division. But where are they tier wise?
See, that division is actually like probably I think the toughest in the NFL.
By far.
By far the toughest in the NFL.
You might have 4 top 10 teams.
Three out of those 4 teams are making the playoffs. 3 out of those 4 are making the playoffs.
Almost a lot.
Yeah. The Raiders, they made all those upgrades. Now, I don't want to be super biased here, but yes, they're A tier. They're A tier right here. They got a franchise quarterback, Derek Carr. They just signed Devontae Adams, like all-star wide receiver, maybe the best wide receiver in the league. I'm pretty sure their O-line isn't that bad. They got Josh Jacobs coming back, and then also on defense, they got Max Crosby, an absolute terror on the edge. So they got all these all-star players. They're A tier all the way. I think they finished second, though. I think they finished second in the division. I'm going to say the Chiefs are first, and the Chargers third.
Chuck, I gotta put the Raiders B tier. It's tough because of it's partly because of how good the division is. But what really concerns me with the Raiders and what holds them back from being like a championship contender, is their coaching. They got Josh McDaniels in the offseason, and I really look at that as like a safe move. They bring in a guy with experience, but I don't know if he's going to bring anything to the table that's going to confuse other teams in terms of like playbooks.
This team will come out and be very basic.
Yeah, I mean, look how motivated they were under Rich Bisaccia. They should have kept him, honestly, and brought out that momentum with all his new talent that they signed. But how are you going to compete against Andy Reid and Mahomes? And you got Herbert and his supporting cast, and then Russell Wilson.
Yes, Staley. He's on the Chargers. He's nasty. He's good. He's a good coach.
Yeah. Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones, 2 huge signings.
Yeah.
But I just don't have a lot of confidence in it. Sure, they were a playoff team last year, but the conference just got better as a whole, and I don't see the Raiders being a big beneficiary for it.
Now, I do want to ask you, where do you put the Kansas City Chiefs?
The Chiefs are still 8.
If the Raiders win, though, where are they?
If the Raiders win the division. Well, if the Raiders win the division, they're A, and Chiefs would probably B. But we're talking. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right now, I think the Chiefs, they're like a 6. They're like 6 or 7, but they're still A tier. They lost players in the offseason that won't make them as much of a favorite as they have been in the past. But how do you bet against what Mahomes and Andy Reid have done over the past few years?
Yeah.
It's hard. And they still have their big defensive talents in Chris Jones, Frank Clark. They still have Kelsey. Their O-line was young last year and was one of the best in the NFL. So they should be getting better
They signed Justin Reed.
Yeah, it really when you have the coaching there in place, Andy Reid, he's going to get creative with the playbook, and they have the playoff pedigree. You can't not put them in A tier. It's almost like
that experience.
Innocent until proven guilty. Chiefs are A tier until proven not A tier.
I just remember last year when they started what was it, they were 2-4, and everybody was writing them off, and then they just came back. Thought that was an unreal season, and they just figured it out. So I could see something like that happening again because of how tough their division is.
Do you have any other teams from
now? Well, if I had to give you one more team, they got the best quarterback in the league, but Packers. What are they going to do? They got no receivers, and their defense is definitely questionable.
They have Aaron Rodgers prevents this team from being C tier. They are they're in that 12 to 14 range right now as far as I'm concerned. What helps them is their weak division. They can certainly win this division. It's not awful. I mean, the Bears are going to be pretty bad this year. The Lions may improve a little bit, but they should still have a losing record. And it's really going to come down to them versus the Vikings. And the Vikings made some bad moves this offseason. So the Packers will benefit from that. But yeah, it's going to be Aaron Rodgers dragging around a collection of unproven guys.
And now this just popped in my head now that you say that. Do you think the Lions make a roar in that division?
Oh, I'm going to be bold and put them in C tier. I think they make a jump, a tiny jump.
I like the C tier too because they could make that jump. I agree.
I think they ascend to C tier and the Bears slide down to D tier. That makes sense.
And fun fact: Juwan Winfrey is on the Packers. You remember Juwan Winfrey?
Wasn't he? He's Big Ten for sure.
I played against him in high school. Burton County guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? Is he Rams Catholic?
No, Dwight Morrow.
Wow.
Yeah, he's on the Packers. I had to say something. Shout out, Juwan.
I think he made the catch last year, and I remember they said he was from New Jersey. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
And then he got hurt. I don't remember. But yeah. Anyway, if we didn't get to your team today, we certainly will. We got months of offseason ahead of us. More moves are going to happen. I mean, hell, who knows? Like maybe some new Deshaun Watson news, please.
Yeah, I would love them to figure that out. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, please.
Anyway, Chuck. So we got our NFL covered out the way. Before we go today, we have to get into our classic segment.
Yeah, gotta throw it in there. Little dubs and L's. I'll go first. We'll start off with the L, and we'll go with a dub next. So my L is going to be, I'm wearing it right now because they need a win. Aroldis Chapman, he has not been good in closing situations. He has like a 2 earned run ERA for like 1 inning. So like you just got to come in there and get it done. And I think he's getting old, and now they just reported that he's injured, so I'm definitely worried about the Yankees. But that's my L, so definitely very concerned.
Okay, I'm going to give a bonus L to Chuck and pretty much all Yankees fans on the planet. The Yankees have the best record in the MLB right now. So you sound like the kid who lives in like Beverly Hills and complains he didn't get a Bugatti for his birthday.
100%.
Like it's the attitude of Yankee fans always has bothered me. Like, you're 29-13. Sure, you lost to the Orioles. But
yeah, it's the Orioles. Like, they're not the best.
But then she just win like 13 in a row before that. Like,
yeah, that was gas. But now we're 3 L streak. That's 3 L's.
Awful, man. The sky is falling. And you know, just for that, I'm going to break what you said, and I'm going to give a W to the second best team in the MLB. How about the other New York team, the New York Mets?
They're actually very fun to watch. I will agree. They're very fun to watch.
Oh, fantastic team to watch. The main difference between this team and years in the past, the Mets have always had great pitching, but could never hit the ball. This year, DeGrom is starting the year on the injured list, and now Scherzer is hurt, and he's going to be out for about 2 months. Still, the Mets pitching has been more than fine, and their offense has been amazing. They're consistent. Every night they show up, and it's now 44 games into the season, and now they just beat the Giants last night. At this point, they've only
good baseball team too. The Giants.
Yeah, at this point, they've only lost 1 series at home to the Mariners, a fluke result really. And in that series, they were down 6-2 and scored 3 runs in the 9th and had the bases loaded, and almost came back to win the series in that one. So they're about like a hit away from winning every series this year. Very, very.
I just love how fired up you are right now.
Super fired up, especially after the BS he said. But to make it up, me and Chuck are already talking about going to a Mets Yankees World Series game this year.
I have that text though, so I'm actually hoping for it too.
All right,
I'm going to that game, and I'll see you guys there.
All right, Chuck. So what you got for
you want to do? Okay, I'll do. So my dub's gonna be Justin Thomas. Gotta shout out the golf.
Right.
Gotta hit our golf fans. We love golf on this show.
I was watching that all weekend.
Justin Thomas went off at the very end, got to go to overtime. Apparently overtime golf is like unheard of. So that's good. That's actually great for golf. I was so excited to see that. Justin Thomas is a dog. I don't really know much about him, but that is unreal relentlessness. I think he was down like 10 strokes or something, and he came back like on the back 9 or some amazing shit like that. But good for him. Get his name on the map. And I think the next golf tournament is the Open. So we're excited for the Open, right?
Very excited. You know, Justin Thomas, he's got the best forecheck swing out of all the golfers out there. His short put game is amazing. His long range is crazy. And you know what? I've run out of stuff to make up, so I'm gonna go into my L real quick.
Let's hear it.
I'm gonna go into my L real quick, and I guess you could double this off as going off king, but you know, we're gonna stick to one segment at a time. We can't overwhelm you guys. Attention spans are short nowadays.
Yeah.
The NBA conference finals have been pretty much a shit show. I mean, I guess you could say it's exciting because of how unpredictable these scores have been, but it's been just a lot of
unpredictable is right.
It's really been a lot of poor basketball for at this stage of the tournament. These last couple of nights have really proved it, though. Going back to Game 4 with the Heat and Celtics. What the hell, Heat? What the entire starting five flopped. They just didn't look like they're playing, like they didn't want to play out there. Maybe Jimmy Butler had an excuse because he was kind of hurt, but the rest of them, yeah, it's like they're playing scared. But the Mavericks might have been worse, honestly.
That is, it's just both bad. I totally agree with you. Mavericks, not even competition.
They haven't looked the part, and I guess you could have kind of predicted it going in, but all the Mavericks do is chuck up threes. So when they're hitting, they're explosive team, but when they're not hitting, they're a joke.
And the Warriors just look like the best basketball team, like on the floor. Like they could beat any team, any era, and they just look amazing right now. They're just hot. They all play together, and they're super quick. And it's like the Mavs get praised for these great defense that they have, and they can't even keep up with them.
At this point, it's gotta be Celtics Warriors.
Yeah, no, I mean, it might be the Heat, but I think it's whoever.
It might
shoots
be
like
the Heat,
shit.
but like it's gotta be the Celtics Warriors for me to want to watch this finals because I feel like the Warriors is gonna take the Heat, like
run around them.
Yeah,
after all
run
the
circles,
run
circles around them. But yeah, as far as the Mavericks go, all they have is Luka. I don't know how they. It's miraculous that they've been able to make it this far.
And he shows out too. He's scoring like 40 a game, and they lose. Like, it is tough to watch.
Yeah, so which leads me to tonight's Shoop Sports sponsored bet of the night. I got Luka Doncic over 4.5 threes at plus 174. Yes, the juice is high, but it's a do or die game. I say he's gonna hit it.
I agree, and I don't bet because I'm very unlucky. So I have no bet, but we'll hit that one for sure.
We're hitting it, and we're gonna hit this outro.
And we'll see you next week.
We'll see the crew next week.
Yeah.
All right.
Everyone have a happy Memorial Day weekend and be safe. When I'm in need, she's a driving friend indeed. Oh, she good. Yeah. On me.
She's here. Nice day she building I need.
Oh, that doesn't fit.
Jesus Christ. All right. See you guys.